The deadliest natural disaster in American history didn't strike California. It didn't strike Florida. It struck a Texas island city in a single terrifying night. On the morning of September 8th, 1900, thousands of people in Galveston woke up expecting an ordinary day. At the time, Galveston was one of the wealthiest and most important cities on the Gulf Coast. More than 37,000 people lived there. Elegant homes lined the streets. Businesses thrived. Ships arrived daily at its busy harbor. Life was good. But just beyond the horizon, a hurricane was moving toward the city, and very few people understood how dangerous it would become. Days earlier, a powerful storm had crossed the Caribbean. Meteorologists knew severe weather was possible. But in 1900, forecasting technology was primitive compared to today. There were no weather satellites, no hurricane hunter aircraft, no radar. As September 8th progressed, Galveston residents began noticing unusual conditions. Strong winds swept across the island. The Gulf waters crept farther inland. Waves crashed over roads near the shoreline. Some people grew concerned. Others watched the storm from porches and windows. Most had no reason to believe they were witnessing the beginning of a catastrophe. By afternoon, the situation was becoming impossible to ignore. The water kept rising, and it wasn't stopping. As evening approached, many families still believed the worst would soon pass. Instead, the storm surge continued to grow. Water poured into the city from the Gulf of Mexico. Street after street disappeared beneath floodwaters. The roads became rivers. Telephone poles snapped. Railroad lines vanished beneath the sea. Families rushed to higher floors. Others climbed into attics or onto rooftops. Some sought shelter with neighbors in larger, stronger buildings. Everywhere across the city, people were making desperate decisions with almost no understanding of what was coming. The hurricane was turning Galveston into an island trapped beneath water. Then darkness fell, and conditions became far worse. Wind speeds were later estimated at more than 130 miles per hour. The local Weather Bureau's instruments failed before recording the hurricane's full strength. Survivors later described hearing buildings collapse in every direction. Entire homes were torn from their foundations. Some floated through the floodwaters before crashing into other structures. In the darkness, people could hear the wind, the crashing debris, and the screams of neighbors carried away by the storm. Families became separated. Parents lost children. Children lost parents. Many spent hours clinging to floating wreckage, praying they would survive until morning. No rescue boats could reach them. No emergency crews could help. For thousands of people across Galveston, survival depended entirely on luck. When daylight finally arrived, survivors stepped into a world they barely recognized. Much of Galveston had been destroyed. Entire neighborhoods were gone. Ships had been thrown onto land. Mountains of lumber, furniture, and wreckage covered the city. Bodies lay among the debris. The scale of destruction was almost impossible to comprehend. The exact death toll will never be known. Most historians estimate that between 6,000 and 8,000 people died. Some estimates place the number even higher. At the time, it was the deadliest natural disaster in American history, and it remained so today. For those who survived, the nightmare wasn't over. Food was scarce, clean drinking water was limited, and the enormous task of rebuilding had only just begun. Galveston refused to disappear. In the years after the disaster, engineers built a massive seawall along the coastline. Then they did something even more remarkable. Large portions of the city were physically raised several feet higher. Buildings were lifted. Roads were elevated. Entire neighborhoods were rebuilt above the old ground level. It became one of the most ambitious engineering projects in American history. The city survived, but it would never be the same. More than a century later, the Galveston hurricane of 1900 remains a warning. A thriving city went to bed expecting bad weather. By morning, thousands were gone. And in a single night, the deadliest natural disaster in American history changed countless lives forever. I'm Penny, and this has been another journey through time. Until next time, every place has a story, and every year has a secret.